Barrett, and welcome to Save Our Wetlands Echo News. This show will focus in on the environment, something that's important to all of us. So join us for Save Our Wetlands Echo News.
I think we have a pretty good chance of having solar power. I think one of our presidents or somebody will realize that we have to have some solar power or something will happen.
And when do you think that's going to come about?
I think by the year 2010, something like that, we're going to have solar power, just everything. Everything's going to be solar power.
And how is it going to come about?
Some president's going to realize that because we're wasting so many animals and so many things on batteries and stuff like that, we're going to have to use solar power later on, sometime.
So you think some president will demand it, huh?
Yes.
And when you grow up, what do you want to be?
President, demand solar power to be used. Yep.
How I love your magnolias, tall, tall pine. Your land is rich, your people are kind. God bless this beautiful state of mine. Louisiana. I love your big muddy rivers and them country streams. Bayous of plenty, meadows of green, fishing boats coasting down the old Gulf Stream. Louisiana. Take it on out of here. How y'all are?
Big hand out here for Washboard Leo, Amos and Miller, and Harlan White. Yeah, Shem, weren't they great? Ribbit, yeah, they were really great. We got some more good entertainment coming up. Y'all just hang in there, we'll be right back. Thank y'all very much. Ribbit.
Welcome, Save Our Wetlands Echo News. My name is Luke Fontana. Down in Louisiana, the pelican, the symbol of the state flag, feeding its young. We've traced this symbol back thousands of years. It stands for rebirth, overcoming ignorance, wisdom, self-sacrifice. Down in Louisiana, Save Our Wetland Echo News, an exciting environmental series. We're going to have such guests as Pat Brine, Director of the Gulf Coast Tennis Association, State Representative Reverend Avery Alexander. Truthful, hard-hitting. Stay in tune. Be in touch. Save Our Wetland Echo News. We'll be right back after this announcement.
cigarettes are drugs.
The American Lung Association.
What do we want? Clean air! What do we want? Clean air! That's what I want. Clean air! When do we want? Now!
I'm marching for my grandchildren's right to clean air and clean water and all of the grandbabies. I'm marching for the grandbabies and all the grandmothers.
Can you tell us why you're marching here tonight?
Save the earth. Preserve it for my grandchildren. Amen.
Can you tell us what you're marching here for today?
Because the earth is the Lord's, the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein.
And you, Reverend T.J. Smith.
The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and they that dwell therein. The earth is the Lord.
And the rainbow is here. The National Rainbow Coalition is here in support. Reverend Jesse Jackson has already been here in supporting this effort against toxic waste. It's killing our communities. And hopefully he'll be here at the end of the march after visiting with Nelson Mandela.
And what are you marching for today?
We want to resurrect on Easter Sunday a concern for the health and the environment of this great state.
We just ought to clean the water. Let's be fair. Let's clean the air. Save our land. Clean the land. Let's be fair. Clean the air.
I want all of our soldiers to know that somewhere between here and there, as long as we tell the truth, they're going to try to lock us up. But we're going to have some pilgrims. We're going to keep telling the truth and we'll keep walking. Even if we have to tell it from the jailhouse.
Go ahead now. You'll do that too.
Even if we have to tell it from the jailhouse.
Yes.
Do the right thing.
Stop pollution.
Do the right thing.
Clean up the air.
Do the right thing.
Power. Do the right thing.
Fight the power.
Do the right thing.
Fight the power.
Do the right thing.
Fight the power.
Do the right thing.
Fight the power.
Do the right thing.
Fight the power.
Clean out the land.
Do the right thing.
Clean out the water.
Do the right thing.
Stop cancer.
Do the right thing.
Stop cancer.
Do the right thing.
What we witnessed today was a process of empowerment. We were part of an organized movement, a people's movement that seized power from the oppressors. What happened today is an example of what people can do when they organize. In an industrialized, alleged democratic society, a society that want to make democracy safe for the world, we the people were arrested because we tried to exercise our constitutional right to speak and to assembly. When this society cannot safeguard the democratic principles here, how in the hell can they safeguard the democratic principles for the world? We must ask ourselves, are the principles of democracy of this treacherous country and parish applicable as it relates to the people of color, or are the principles of democracy safeguarded for a chosen few? We, the people of color, are living in a police state where corrupt government and chemical industries reign. We're here today to tell you the powers that might be and the police dictatorship that Formosa will not locate in Wallace. We're here to tell the thugs that run the government that we will continue to march. We'll continue to protest, and we'll continue to raise hell, and we'll continue to go to jail, and we're prepared to break the parish of St. John. The power is in the hands of the people, and the struggle is on. What's happening today in St. John Parish to the people of color is no different than what's happening in developing nations where people of color live around the world. The Zulu Valley in Africa is poisoned by mercury imported from the United States American Sign Mill. Marsdenville, Revealtown, Addis, USA, African American communities were poisoned and is poisoned by vinyl chloride from Dow, Georgia Gulf, and Occidental. You have started the process to stop the poisoning in Wallace. We've started the process here, and the process will continue. You are in a position now to write the end of this story. It's up to you.
But I want to send a message to our elected officials and to Formosa. It is high time, gentlemen, that you take your hand out of your hair and your eyes out of the sand and realize that the time and the winds of change is on the march. We have come together and band ourselves together with our brothers and sisters to let you know that business in St. John, that all that has been carried out as business as usual, there'll be no more. I hope and pray, if I never have an opportunity to say another word to you, that you take your destination in your own hand and stop letting other people dictate and tell you what to do. Thank you.
We don't know if we will win, but only when people are willing to stand up and fight do they even have a chance to win. So I'm saying to you.
Now, I want you to understand that I have faced some impossible situations. In fact, I thought they were impossible myself. For as you could have lived prior to 1965 and 64, when a black person couldn't work for the parish, just imagine how many blacks you have working for the parish now. You couldn't buy a hamburger at the front window. You couldn't go in a restaurant. You couldn't sleep in a hotel. You couldn't go in a restaurant at the service station. You couldn't do anything. And the only job you had was either sweeping the floor or taking care of the babies. So I thought it was impossible. But you know, like a frog that fell into a stream, and everybody thought he had drowned, and the next morning they looked and they saw the old frog jumping around. You know how? Well, how he got up? He kept kicking. And so I say to you tonight to keep on kicking. If my generation could fight its way out of segregation, degradation, injustice, discrimination, and everything bad for many lifetimes, then I'm sure you can fight your way out of this.
All right.
Now let me close by alluding to what's going on in St. John. Formosa, a job, a nice plant owned by a corporation that has been kicked out of its own home base for polluting the environment leaked out. And you tell me that it was a Chinese plant owned by Chinese that's coming 12,000 miles to St. John. And they're going to treat you right when they didn't treat their own people right. Don't let anybody turn you around. Just keep on fighting. Keep on marching. Keep on walking. Keep on talking. Keep on standing. Don't let anybody turn you around. Keep on fighting.
Fight the power! Do the right thing! 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 Fight the power! Clean out the land! Do the right thing! Clean out the water! Do the right thing! Stop cancer! 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 Do the right thing! Clean up the air! Do the right thing! Clean up the water! Do the right thing! Clean up the land! Do the right thing! Clean up the air! Do the right thing! Clean up the plant! Do the right thing! Stop cancer! Do the right thing! Stop cancer! Do the right thing! Clean up the air! Do the right thing! You can do it! Do the right thing! Do it now! Do the right thing! Start today! Do the right thing! Well, why don't you try it? Do the right thing! Do the right thing! Do the right thing! Fight the power! Do the right thing! Fight the power! Do the right thing! Clean up the land! Do the right thing! Clean up the water! Do the right thing! Clean up the land! Do the right thing! I want to bring attention to some of the most heroic fighters I have ever marched and I've ever fought with. And I want to start by asking all of those people who stood up to the organized terror of the St. John the Baptist Sheriff's Department. I want all of those people to stand up, please. This gentleman right here said, "It is my constitutional right to march along the road, and I will not give it up." And we all went to jail on his word. Every last one of us out there, it was more than 30 of us, and I think some decided that today wasn't the day. But we hope that they will decide that one day, somewhere, there will be something that they feel strong enough about to stand up for freedom, no matter what the cost is. You understand what I'm saying? You see, we are embarked on a struggle that is very basic to life for everybody. That is the right to breathe, the right to drink clean water, and the right to eat clean food. Everybody is affected by that. And this follows a national pattern, brothers and sisters, where we get the worst and the dirtiest of all industries. And it follows a pattern where people are least organized, where they're least registered to vote, where they're least political power, where they're the blackest, the brownest, and the yellowest. That's where these industries locate. And we must change that. You are beginning to move from protest to empowerment.
All right.
You are beginning to stop your constant protest, and I've heard in your meetings and I see in your organization that you are beginning now to talk about how can we take over the government to make the government work for us, and that is the key that we must deal with in this society. And to our white brothers and sisters, this is not our movement. This
black folks' movement. This is all our movement. And we can talk like this because the media is gone. Black and white together, we all breathe the same air.
All right.
St. John Baptist Parish police came and started grabbing people, grabbed Pat Bryant first, and handcuffed him, put him in a car, and we continued to march, and they continued to arrest each individual person, sometimes 3 at a time. They didn't handcuff us, they didn't search us, they didn't read us our rights, until after we were thrown into jail. Then they read us our rights. All they did was they brought us in there, and they held us for a while until it was too late for us to go and protest at the DuPont plant. You know, as soon as it was too late for us to protest at the DuPont plant, they started processing us and letting us out with a simple obstruction of a highway, which is a misdemeanor. And
a couple of people did make it to DuPont, and they arrested them right outside of DuPont.
Yeah, some people finally made it all the way. They had to run.
They still arrested them.
They had to run.
Well, here we are on the school bus on our way down Cancer Corridor with the 2nd Annual Louisiana Great Toxic March. Taking place today, across Louisiana, down to Eggo, Louisiana, Whitney Plantation, with the arrests that took place in St. John the Baptist Parish in Louisiana.
We won't put up with poison. We won't put up with police telling us we can't do what our own rights tell us we can do. We're not going to put up with it. We're going to keep walking all the way to Baton Rouge.
You know, one thing about a movement, if you've been in any movements, you know, a lot of people think movements are big. I'll tell you right now, movements are small. Every movement that I've been in, there hasn't been a lot of people, because that movement is never with a lot of people in the beginning. And there's a movement going on, for example, right now on this second Great Toxic March that's occurring from New Orleans to Baton Rouge. There's not a lot of people. They were arrested in Laplace yesterday afternoon, okay? The reason they were arrested in Laplace, children were arrested too, buddy. And we're talking about poor black folks here. We're not talking about the type of black folks that run City Hall over here, or run over at the governor's office, the black middle-class politician type. That's not what was there. That movement is small, and that movement is about as important as Selma to Montgomery. And it's going to end up in Baton Rouge Earth Day. And you don't see any big politicians. You don't see any big, huge groups. It's just a small group of people that are going to change this state. That is a very historic march, and there's very few people there. So movements are not always what we think movements are, where you have this big, huge group of people.
This is right outside the Whitney Plantation, which is the proposed Formosa chemical plant site. These people have been arrested today in Laplace, Louisiana, for marching down Cancer Corridor on the way to Baton Rouge. This is not the Whitney Plantation as such. This is right outside the Whitney Plantation. It's typical of the type of grounds that are going to be destroyed by the Formosa chemical plant proposed in St. John Parish on approximately 1,300 acres, now called the Whitney Plantation.
What do we want? What do we want? Clean air. What do we want? Clean air.
Formosa chemicals have been run out of Texas, literally, by a report from Texas. Here in Louisiana, they're polluted outside Baton Rouge. They're now proposed 1,300 acres.
Officer? I want to let you know a couple of very important things. One is you still are continuing to make history, which you know. They said they weren't going to let us march down the road. They tried to stop us. You enforced your rights, and they saw they could not stop you. Now, that is how we have acquired our freedom over the years. Whenever we decide that we're not going to take it no more, they can't do it to us no more.
That's right.
It's very fitting for those, this is a little man's movement. We don't have any big shots out in this movement. This is a movement of little people who are fighting for freedom. And it's very important that those of you who have fought for justice and freedom today express to yourselves what it is you feel and have been feeling all day long from the time we got locked up. And it's very important for all of us to listen at each other. The most powerful part of every movement is when the little people at the grassroots speak. And this is certainly not a place for the little people to be mum and to be quiet. So let's hear those people who are real leaders, who stood up before the police and said, I will not be moved. And I will stand up for my rights. Let's hear them speak at this point.
You know, I was born and raised on this mighty Mississippi. And back when Huck Finn and I were young'uns and fond of floating on the river on that big old raft, we could drink this water. Can't do that these days. Too much pollution. Our rivers are a vital source of life, and we must protect them.
Everybody knows exactly what's going round. They went and cut half of the old trees down. Hardly left a spot we want to swim in this town. We want to save